Okay, 4 o'clock. July 12th. Roger, upstairs.
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first, hey, you two. First thing we have is the June 28th council meeting minutes. All ready?
I have, something bothered me about the Mr. Wilson thing, so I went back and listened to the tape on the meeting. And at 11:57 into the tape, he stated that he didn't know, and this is quoting, "We don't know how you guys operate, but I'm pulling my application." So he did not state before when he came into the meeting that he was doing that. He just got done with the discussion with Don about him not being on this, in his building to check egress. And we just know it's an assumption that he was gonna do that, because after the meeting, he hung the for sale sign.
So this is from the June 22nd meeting, when we changed it to,
Yes,
so you want to take, do you want to correct and take that out? Or does that change?
I wanted to reflect what he said, that he did not come here and state at the meeting that he was gonna pull his application. It wasn't until that discussion that he just said, no, I'm pulling my application.
Yeah, let's just say, he said, quote, "I'm pulling my application." That's fine.
Okay. So we will change that part of the minutes on June 28th to show that statement. Any other changes, additions, corrections?
No, I saw none other than that one.
Okay, do you want, is there a motion to accept the minutes as corrected?
Make a motion to accept the June 28th, 2022 city council meeting minutes with the changes. One change. excuse me.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Then we have the July 8th public hearing minutes. Motion to accept these minutes,
I'll move we accept this revised.
the revised version, okay?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, fire department.
Well, first thing I want to do is thank Al Jones because he's passed the national EMS certificate for first responder. Second thing is we've had a couple ground fires. Can't think of any medical calls that we've had. Garbage collection during flea market seemed to go pretty good. I don't know what, and John's got the calculations on that, but didn't mind picking up the garbage. Scott and Laura did a garage sale that was a fundraiser for the fire department. Made $1,010.
Wow.
And we're in fire season. And if you see a fire or a medical emergency, call 911.
Well, grandfather, right?
2 ground fires.
So we
No, no.
Oh, no ground fires, no, not during fire season. So fire pits, and that's basically just a campfire, a wreck fire at this point, it's the only thing that's good. You know, we may be another 2 weeks before it goes to totally no fire.
Those have to remain supervised at all times.
They have to make, yes, a campfire has to be remain supervised.
Because we had one down there, past the, stockade. That people left it burning.
Yes, that was one of the ground fires that we had, yes. And so that is completely shut down.
Good.
Fire pit, so the only fire you can have is in a fire pit or fire ring. And it's supposed to be 3-foot pit, 3-foot diameter, 12 inches high, no more than a 12-inch flame. So it's pretty restricted.
I have a bunch of burn barrels,
Burn barrels have been, no burn barrels at all, because
because
they're
I had
unintended.
people ask, okay.
We usually shut those down before, because they're so often unattended, you know, people will
Wait, you have a question, Mark?
question.
Yeah, the $1,000 for the fire department, we budgeted for a fire department fund, right? Is that going into the fire department?
It'll go wherever, you know, wherever it has to go. The check was made out because Laura, you know, she did her thing and then she took off for Reno the next day. She
So like,
made it.
it's gonna come in here and go to Rob for a
Make sure do that, that's where it needs to be. Yes. Okay, not a problem.
Anything else for Kurt before he runs out?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt.
Good.
Jeff,
Okay.
that's on the agenda.
That's the highest.
So we have a lot of water intake this year compared to last year, but we're only trying to, not this time because we were running out of water.
Can you speak?
Louder?
Yeah.
Louder? Yeah. Okay. This year, for some reason, we're only getting a 100-gallon flow coming down from the foaming at gravity feed, and 200 gallons per minute with booster pump on. Last year, we had 156 gallons a minute gravity feed and 227 gallons a minute with the booster pump on. And I'm not sure why. It's either air or we have a leak somewhere. So, the redwood tank, though, the redwood tank up here, we've been talking about just discontinuing the redwood tank. Bill Gossett gave it the okay, Hiko gave it the okay. The only thing we have to do is dig up one of the lines that goes to the blue tank and transfer an electric valve that controls the water in the main tank for contact time. So it shuts the water off, keeps it in the tank until it hits a certain contact time, and then lets it out. That has to be, it's in the control room now for the regular tank, but we need to dig up a line, a main line somewhere. I don't know exactly where Eco does. Yeah, they're gonna put all that information on the diagrams. And it just- anyway,
Are they gonna use the same valve we have, Jeff? Or they're gonna change?
same way.
They're gonna use the same valve we have.
Yes, yes.
So basically, we're just changing the wall.
Yes, we'll probably have to have a couple of mechanical joint, fittings to put the valve in place. But, yeah, I don't think we'll have to buy very many parts. We'll be able to use all the existing parts we already have. But, the redwood tank is leaking 85,000 gallons a day in 24 hours. 60 gallons a minute. So, to keep the city off restrictions, we can utilize that 85,000 gallons a day. I wouldn't have to go on restrictions at all.
Yeah, without us leaking water on the ground. we can keep the other
Not
tank
just
full.
water, that's chlorinated water, so that's costing us the same money. It's costing us the same money.
Pico did
Yeah,
say
because
he said
otherwise,
diagram.
because with Bill Dow saying, like he says, eco green, the main reason why that tank is in there is to keep us supposedly. in
That's
compliance.
contact time tank, exactly.
And that and also water storage for us, to where, when we take that out of line,
Right.
but we're in the process of changing.
Right, but we have to get rid of it anyway, so if we bypass it now, it'll be that much easier to tear it down and get it out there.
Yeah, we'll have to find out what that consists of, because I think that if we put out the bid to sell the tank,
Whatever.
you know, well, and the nice thing about it is if we get rid of the tank before they start construction next year, that's one hurdle that moves things
So,
forward.
and that's one of the obstacles that I doubt we should have any problem with. When we came to trying to get a new foundation.
We really can't say how much water the city's using though out of the blue tank.
Well, we did, we tested how much water was coming out of the redwood tank. Leaking.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we don't know what the city's actually.
No, because we don't
consuming.
have a meter to meter what the city's actually using. We have a meter that tells us what's coming in. But if it's bypassing, if it's overflowing the filter beds, it just goes right back to the creek.
So the redwood tank, we ascertained that there was 80-some thousand gallons a day going on. That had a meter that determined that for us, right? We have a meter in, a meter out, and the difference then would be what's leaking, right?
And the way we figured it out, we isolated the blue tank, just the redwood tank, and then we measured what was coming out of the filter beds. What's coming out of the filter beds. And we did that for an hour, and we calculated what it was leaking in 24 hours.
Okay, and we assume that there's no leakage between the filter beds and when it goes into the redwood.
We assume that, yes.
Okay, and then you feel that's a safe assumption.
Yes, I do, because there's no water on the ground anywhere, so.
Okay. In this letter from this eco guy, do we have it?
Yes.
Okay.
He just sent a diagram right before the meeting
Okay.
of what has to be done.
Right, right.
according to you.
Yeah,
But they said that, they proposed to shut off and open for isolation of the redwood tank for directly feeding from the slow sand filter to the 300,000 gallon tank, which is the blue tank. And then they gave us a diagram to show you guys how to do it. And this will mostly involve excavation, plumbing, and electrical work to keep the tank, to get the tank filled. And he goes also looking at, because of the dig, and Tim was not comfortable doing the dig.
right.
They're looking into potential contractors for availability and budget. And I also talked to Paige. As far as, since it's leaking so bad and it's gonna cost us a lot of water, we can consider this as an emergency to do it. If it's under $10,000, there's no problem. If it's over that, she said that, there's a way that we can go ahead and just get it done. And she's given us her opinion on it. I'll make copies of this for all of you.
Well, I've got that.
Oh, you got it.
I'd like to see the eco.
Okay, I'll make copies of that too for you. Yeah. And then, so yeah, we just need to find somebody to do it. To get it done.
I mean, we can't do the electrical part.
Right, we'll have to do electrical, yeah. But, and then as far as the funds, I also talked to Nick, since this is part of the water budget. Part of the grant we have now will not pay for this to be done. So, but we do have the ARPA money that will pay for, we do put towards this.
Which one?
That ARPA money, the American
Oh.
Rescue Plan money,
Okay,
We do
I'm not
have-
good with that.
yeah, we do have that money to cover this expense. Does anybody have any questions for Jeff?
You're welcome.
We'll get you the copies of this too.
Okay.
Yeah.
We haven't put the American Rescue Plan money into, so like I say, this would be Nick's going to check to see if there's, out of the grant money we have right now, that will cover this is the most amount likely. So he said, American Rescue Plan money has to be for seconds. Yes.
Does somebody have kind of a pucker factor estimate?
That's what Eco's working on to get an
We
idea.
don't have a clue right
No,
now.
because this is just kind of come up, where this is everything in motion right now on the same thing.
There are older people stick their fingers in the tank.
Yeah, the holes are way too big anyway. It's just leaking bad.
Just more people.
So, okay, as soon as I get stuff, I'll send it for you to you guys. Okay, next we need to pay the bills.
As I said before, there's a lot of money going out this month, we're proposing to. We have, I'll just hit the high notes here. We got Baker Sanitary Service bill for $3,300. That is for the May flea market. That's not July. I paid those. It's just the bill for the month. We got $18,000 for dust abatement. My bill's a little higher for the budget work I did last month. Code Engineering and Eco combining for about $92,000. That is all grant funded. And we've already been reimbursed for those expenses through LGIP. The tax $1,700.
Is that high for OTEC?
This is a little high. Yeah,
Like a little ballpark, how much?
I have to look back. I don't remember it being over 1,000, so it's probably quite a ways high.
Is it the flea market for chance?
We can definitely investigate that. It wouldn't be July. No, well, we'd have to look at the cutoff times.
That's June's bill, right?
Yeah, it should have been June's bill. Should have been June's bill.
That would have been through that. Nick?
It would have been last week.
Yeah, well, we can look and see, and as Jeff just said too, that they're running that booster money. So that's an extra deal there, and we also know there.
So all the bills, they're broken out by location, so we have all that information, so we can easily compare that out. It's not difficult. They don't just send us one bill like with your house. They have all the different locations they have.
We have one of the,
Oh, yeah, sorry, it's in my stack here. Cecil Engineering sent us the bill as we were preparing for the meeting today. So we don't have a check drafted for that at this point, but it is an additional $12,887.
this is a bill that's been on the books for quite a while.
So this power bill would have been June 6th to, or June 3rd through July 3rd. So this was not
That
flea
would-
market.
Well, when did people start using it?
Flea market was done by the 31st.
Right for the May one. Did we use any electricity though for the July 4th one?
No.
Okay.
Well, let's find out why it jumps so much. We have a flea market.
We will.
Anyway, the Cecil Engineering, we've owed this for quite a while. He just never, we had hoped that the grant would be paid by a grant, but this is an old bill. There is no grant to cover it, so it's our obligation to pay it.
Nice, he didn't charge us interest.
It's the sewer lagoon pump,
There you go.
Oh, the sewer lagoon?
sewer
Turn
lagoon
that
pump.
on, didn't they? That hasn't been reflected in the bills before. Anybody else have questions for that?
Well, there's one more report in here. I
Okay, go
included a
ahead.
budget actual. Everybody should have that. So you can see where we shook out for the year. Budget actual, of course, unadjusted and audited numbers. We're not about it done yet, but yeah. That's where we are. No over expenditures at this point.
Do we need a motion, I don't know, to pay the bills, but to include Sissel in that? What does that leave us with? Take 13,000 off this,
You have $14,000 estimated in a month in your checking account. We have plenty of money to cover it, so we just transfer if we need to.
does that leave us enough money in case something comes up?
Not a lot. This is your lowest time of the year. Seriously, November rolls around, we start getting our property tax payments, things like that. So we just kind of roll through the summer. They're about $100,000.
My preference would be that if we pay these other bills, and there's, this eco. But if we pay, let's say half a Sissel this month, half the next month, in case we have a wreck.
So whatever council wants.
Whatever we want to do.
Yeah, that's my suggestion. I hate leaving us anywhere close to short. We've been there many times.
This $80,000, this, well, we might be 2,000, we've already got that back.
Anyway, they'll
Yes.
Okay, so do I have a motion to pay the bills to include half of Sissel's invoice?
Oh, yeah.
Do I have a motion?
Also,
Okay.
second.
All in favor? All opposed?
Okay, so we will get that check drafted. Is anybody coming today? Anytime soon? You're not, are you signing?
No.
No. Me too.
let's do them all.
Well, I don't worry about
Sign right on.
What's that?
Okay.
I don't know, you just sign it out there, you want it.
Oh, well, is there a reason, do we need to change banks? I know we've talked about that. Is there any good reason to, or?
There's no reason to. The issues that have been discussed in the past are just the fees, and then there's been a couple of bank errors over the past, say, 24 months.
So are the bank fees high enough there to justify moving?
We would have to look at other banks and see what they charge.
Because, I mean, I know we brought it up several times, and are there some that do not have fees for?
We would have to look and see what other banks have to offer. You can actually, and other cities have done this, you can actually do a request for proposals from banks. And say, hey, what would you offer us?
We're not allowed to use a credit.
I'm not aware of any city that uses a credit union. I'm not aware of any rule that says you can or can't.
Well, they're not FDIC insured. They're insured by.
So when a municipality puts money in a bank, they have to be on the list of approved institutions by the Secretary of State. And so we have to see who's on that. All the banks in town, I don't know about Old West, but banks are.
Yeah, they're all by law FDIC insured. The Old West is insured by the National Credit Union Insurance.
Yeah,
Right?
and that or something like that. I can look for it.
So these are before we decide to move. Any other questions for Laura? Okay, we have planning, we have several applications here. We have Michael Baker. Have you guys looked at this, or?
Yes.
What?
Michael Baker, his zoning, his permit. Zoning permit, you have one. Any concerns, any? Any, like, have a motion to accept his application?
We just now make a motion to accept the big application.
Do a second?
Also,
All in favor?
I have to conflict because I do legal work.
Okay,
May I jump back into the conversation?
yes,
On totally unrelated subject.
sure.
I have an answer to Old West is an approved depository. If you want to pursue that.
Okay, then we also have Dale Lumpy for a 10 by 12 storage shed. Any questions, concerns? I have a motion to accept this application.
So moved.
All in favor? Okay. Bill and Sharon's, and yes, I did go down and talked about the shed. We have an application.
And I had a conflict there because I'm opposing it.
Okay,
Last year he moved another small shed and he never came to us in the city. The only one that he did come in is the one up at his house. It has a small one up there too.
And he hasn't, I don't think, got a permit for whatever it was, stamped on it, whatever.
oh, he went to see Don, whatever day I was there, to get their permits for their shed.
So he, on his manufactured home, I think he scabbed something onto
No,
the board.
he got a permit for
He
that.
did,
He
okay,
did
I
get
just
a
wanted to
permit.
make sure.
Yes, he came in here, yes, he did get a permit for that. And he has been, because I have been now talked to him several times, and his application, and he has been to Don to get the permit.
So that other shed that was moved on, it was a year ago.
I'll have to talk to him about that one too. But Randy, we're talking about this one, that's 40 by 13.
And this one goes to Don. Once we pass it. I make a motion to approve.
Have a second?
Sharon's.
In favor? Then we have Gregory and Bliss. Roof addition to which is existing building, adding roofs on from each on each side, is that what it's doing?
Yes, he's got a couple feet on each and the other, it's already there, just leave it.
So I have a motion to approve this application.
Make a motion to approve this application.
All in favor? Opposed?
What, is it possible, and I like Don's suggestion, that we email these people so we have a record of it, if they have passed or not passed, and then have a file for all the addresses.
I'm not certain I have everyone's email.
Okay,
I will add that line to the application for future.
the next thing is we have, okay, the measure 109, we have to set a public hearing because changes rough draft a ordinance, there just will have to be changes in ordinance if it passes on the ballot. So we need to have set a public hearing for measure 109 and read the proposed ordinance.
So,
This is on the mushrooms.
right. The ordinance has some errors in it.
Okay,
And for some reason, sure.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
The arrow is still
This
there.
is just, yeah, this is her, it says draft on it. Do you want my copy?
Yeah, for some reason, I had copies for everyone that I left.
Oh, this-
Okay, there is, city ought to be capitalized all the way through it, I believe.
Okay.
And down here it says in prohibition, establishment of seal aside and product manufacturer license under ORS 275A.29. That's incorrect. It's 475A.29. There is no such thing as 275A.29.
So it should be
475.29. And then I believe we had voted, had we not, to permanently prohibit. So I would suggest we put on the next line is permanently prohibited in the city of Sumter. And then after that, I don't know why, to me, this is important enough to warrant immediately effect to that ordinance. And so if we simply add language that comes right out of the ordinance statute that's necessary for the peace, health, and welfare of the citizens of Sumter, it is deemed to be an emergency and therefore it will go into effect immediately upon approval.
But this has to go on the ballot. for the voters and
I
stuff.
know when the voters approve,
Well, when they approve it,
it
okay,
goes into effect immediately.
as an emergency. Okay.
It's up to the council, but I just have, I'm death on drugs.
Well, this is, yeah. No, I agree. So we'll have her make those changes. And then we'll set up a workshop because it has to be a public hearing to be read and any public comment. So when are you all available? What's your schedule?
It's varies from day to day. I have some medical stuff out of town next week. Week after.
Why do you have to workshop?
There's a public hearing.
It's not a workshop.
I'm sorry, a public hearing, I'm sorry.
You have a question.
I just got an email from the county this afternoon. They're holding a public hearing on the same thing for the city of Unity.
Mhm.
Might not be a bad thing to send somebody to see how to do it. You know what I mean?
Public hearing. Okay, yeah, I know there's several that are having it. So you're gone next week, is that what you said, Martin? You're out of town
I'm gone next Friday and the Monday after.
Charlie, are you around?
Next week?
Next Friday. Could we do it like Wednesday the 20th? Morning, afternoon?
Morning,
Morning. About 9 o'clock.
sounds good.
Okay, so 9 o'clock on July 20th.
Can we get an email for that, please?
Yeah. So for a public hearing. Renee, our ordinance says we have to do it twice, right?
According to Paige and our charter, we're supposed to have it read twice. So your public hearing is to take public input and then you can just do it at the next meeting.
July 22nd, we'll read it again. July 26th.
So it'll just be on the next agenda.
So it'll be 9 a.m. on July 20th. Next is, I suggested a while back we need to look at our ordinances, to do a zoning ordinance committee that included citizens and 2 counselors. We do have people that have volunteered to help. Marcia was going to be one counselor. Martin, are you interested in being involved in this?
Yeah,
So you'll be involved in it too?
sure.
And then we have 5 people that would like to be involved. This will just be to go over the ordinances and make some recommendations to the full council. And I guess you guys have to decide when and how you want to set up your committee.
I would think this is important, but I think what we need to work on too, by the way, is some enforcement to our ordinances that we do have in place. We have no enforcement at all in our ordinances. And I did contact one of the towing companies in Baker, and they said it's a really simple process. But you have to mark the vehicle, so you'd send out a certified letter and then state, a couple days down the road that this is the day you're gonna tag your vehicle. It has to be moved off of the city street in so many days, or it will be towed, and they'll come up and tow it, and then that person is liable for all of the towing expenses. She did specify you have to tag or the boat or whatever it is that's in the city street for longer than what our ordinance says.
Our ordinance does not have any enforcement right now.
Yeah.
So what was the other one?
The other one is for the residential zones, conditional uses. We have no enforcement on any of our ordinances. It just doesn't matter what it is. There's no enforcement. So we have to come up with some enforcement code that applies to it.
So that would be basically one of the first things you guys would be working on. So
And it would be an added section to the ordinance.
The zoning ordinance, we can build enforcement in.
Right,
The others, like the cars we bus,
street,
that's a different matter.
Yeah.
and Paige has been working on that, so we'll let her know about the tow company, because she was the one suggesting about contacting tow companies.
Which token?
I called Superior to me.
So as far as the committee meeting together, do you guys just gonna send an email out and set dates, or?
Works for me.
Okay. Or should you want to give it all of these set dates? Okay. So I'll let you know on that. Okay, then the next thing on here is a while back, like in 2019, the city council was talking about selling property that is over by the irrigation area. And at that time, Herb Clark put in some earnest money and was interested in purchasing that property. It obviously got tabled and just, went away. It's 27 acres? Yes, 27 acres. My question to this council, are you all still interested in selling this property or not?
I would say no, because when we first heard about this in 2019, Mr. John Young was the one that came to us and said that the property that he sprinkled, they were doing it before. He says you never can do it again. DEQ turns around and says you can't. It's got to be several years down the road before you can sprinkle irrigate. The city should not give up any irrigation area, any ground that we can irrigate for a sewer. I think that's my opinion. I don't think we should get rid of it. If we didn't have any use for it, then it would just sit up there, then that's not a problem. But right now, because we can't irrigate it, and Bill Goss has also said the same thing. He says, no, we should go back up there 15 years later and re-irrigate it. He says it may or may not take as much water as it did before, but at least it's something that the city does not have to go purchase the ground.
Is this the property that's on our sewer bill that we're paying for?
No, this is the other one. The one that we're paying for is what we're irrigating now.
Okay, it's 2 separate.
There are two separate leases. We bought the minimum property.
So Martin, do you have any opinion on this?
I don't think we're out of sell.
Okay, so the opinion of this council is that we do not want to sell this property. Kurt just needed to know if he needed to move on or,
Yeah, and I would like to have first right to buy it at the original deal with the council. If it, in 50 years from now, my daughter wanted it, she could purchase it.
in 50 years, we can't
Because you've been
be
sitting
tied
on my
into 50
money for
years
a
from
lot of
now.
years.
Yeah, but we can't be tied, but as of now, I guess we are not ready to sell it, Kurt, so.
Okay,
we can-
but, okay, that's all good. I just wanted to find out, but it did come up at 3 different council meetings for sale.
Yeah, I know back then, but that's, honestly, things have changed, so. Man,
Property values. 10 years ago, before COVID grants and taxes on marijuana sales, before we once again became eligible for block grants, the city of Sumter depended on property taxes as the core of its budget. Property taxes depend on property values. Property values depend on such things as supply and demand. Demand depends on such things as services available, job openings, and a community's culture. If those factors are ignored, and it should come to pass that the city of Sumter ever depends only on property taxes for its budget again, the city I love may indeed become a true ghost town. I come to this conclusion from a mix of experiences. From 18 years growing up in Sumter, from a couple of decades spent in the Seattle area, seeing different cultures and experiencing many very different opinions. From returning home to serve on the boards of the Railroad, Dredge, and Baker County Chamber of Commerce, being on council and planning commission, working in the city office, and for the last 11 years as a business owner. From listening to other business owners, from listening to residents. Some residents have come to Sumter to heal. Some have come for the quiet to get away from big city rush and pressure. Some have come for easy access to the outdoors. Some have come for the entirety of that indefinable something that Sumter is. Others through the years have apparently come for different reasons. Maybe because they're welcome nowhere else. Maybe because they're trying to escape from a bad reputation. Maybe because they figure Sumter is small enough, they can build their own private empire just the way they want it. Those latter generally don't talk to people like me, so I'm not sure why they come. I do know many who have come to change Sumter to be more like Portland or more like Sisters have moved on, disappointed that Sumter insists on being Sumter. Personally, I left Sumter not because I wanted out of small town life. I went to serve the world as a whole. I got a couple of degrees, I took some training with the Air Force, I did some Boeing missile defense work, I raised a child, I survived this and that. I discovered I didn't have the energy to change the world. I came home figuring maybe I could serve one small corner of the world. For years, I've looked at Sumter's economy as depending on historical attractions and outdoor recreational opportunities. I was uncomfortable with our economy having only 2 legs. A tripod is much steadier. These past 24 months have shown me that hosting events such as Sumter's Outdoor Flea Market is the 3rd leg I've been looking for. It was right under my nose, and the threat of losing that 3rd support of our economy is what brought it to my attention. At a couple of recent council meetings, I've addressed my economic concerns briefly in public comment. First, I touched on the history of the Sumter Valley Days grounds, the grounds. The grounds have been in use as an events area since 1969. That's over 50 years of providing the community of Sumter with an influx of visitors for its businesses. An influx of visitors who sometimes buy property and improve it. An influx of visitors that contribute directly to Sumter's property values. The second time I spoke in public comment,
I spoke on the value of volunteers to the health of our community. I mentioned work parties of volunteers who repaired our wooden water main. I tried very hard to be clear that our historical attractions wouldn't exist without volunteers. I entered into the record that improvements by volunteers to the grounds and other community properties numbered in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. I did this because there are people in our community who don't seem to see a need for those visitors, or don't seem to see a need for a gas station or a store or a place to go for Taco Tuesday at night or a hot cup of coffee before heading out to work in the morning. We have a council member who moved in across from the grounds well after it had been established and has been working for years to close it down. To me, that's exactly like moving in next to the airport and then complaining about the noise. If this person hates Sumter as much as he seems to have always hated Sumter, why the heck has he stayed? Why did he accept the place as a representative of the people and then try to get rid of the services the people use by denying those services the opportunity to keep their businesses healthy? Why is he trying to reduce our property values so that in worst case scenario, the city government has no budget for clean water, no budget to plow our streets, no budget to maintain fire hydrants for our volunteer fire department to protect our homes? And then there's the supposed businessman who posted on social media that no one should bother to come up to Sumter over the 4th of
That's
July
not what it
weekend
said.
because there was nothing to see or do. I wasn't the only one appalled and angered by his actions. Why is he trying to kill Sumter's other businesses and services? Why is he attacking our property values? Not just our property values, our very reputation as a community that welcomes visitors and newcomers. The action of insisting on reducing Sumter's outdoor flea markets, supposedly because they affect the bottom line, of insisting that historical buildings have no importance or purpose in existing, of maiming our community's opportunities of growth by limiting how city resources like the grounds are used, is designed to benefit the few, in my opinion. It isn't just an attack on volunteers, optimists, and daydreamers. It's an attack on every single resident by undermining our property values. I've seen what Sumter looks like without a gas station, without restaurants. I've heard what our water system was like when Sumter's population was less than 100 people. Parts of a frog showing up in the tub and toilet at 2 different houses. The story of our fire department hauling hose to a fire on a hose cart. Every single resident of Sumter benefits from the help of our property values. Don't ever think you don't. That's the bottom line, as far as I'm concerned.
On to business. We're back to the City Hall audio video. Davis is not available until late September because they're working on a big school project. The city guy in Baker has not returned her calls. And the guy from Idaho, that was the tech from Idaho, said all we really need was a new, better camera and audio system. Our computer is just fine to plug into that. And the sound system on here is just really bad, and we need to move forward and get something now so that we can have better quality.
We timed out on the $300, didn't we? Because we didn't make a decision.
Yes.
Well, I do know it was mentioned that we need to put a rug or 2 in here, cut down the echoes, so that's, and then we just get those long rug runners that help a little bit, but not much, I'm sure. I've looked at all the ones that Renee got presented to us a while back, and looked at them online and started reading some of the reviews, and I do like the Nexego meeting one. We talked about it. minutes ago. Because our audio is,
Yeah, and it does have a lot of
it is
echo in it.
and we are supposed to be state mandated to try to upgrade.
And the tech from Idaho did say that we need something on the floors because it does produce an echo.
What else you can do in here to reduce the echoes. They're putting a little bit on it. You have money?
You know, okay, so we got, Davis can't do it.
Mhm.
And the city of Baker won't call it back. Sky and I know that. No idea about it.
They did the courtesy of coming here when they were up there.
But they're not the only people around. There's a guy in John Day who does electronics. It seems to me we ought to have it professionally done, and while we're at it, let's make sure everything fits, like security and things like that. And as far as soundproofing, put some rugs down. Who's gonna come in and clean them?
They're just gonna be runners and you vacuum.
The runners get dirty as well as.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
carpets.
yeah.
Yeah, somebody's gotta clean them, and around here you got mud, water, and everything in winter. And I don't know what else can be done. I don't have a panacea for that. But there might be something on the wall so we get the wear that will help.
Oh, no, we've just been kicking this down and we still are using our old bad sound system. And I mean, all we need is something that'll plug into the computer for right now. I mean, it's $700 versus probably $2,500 to have somebody, well, just to travel here, it's gonna be more from John Day.
They don't come for free.
And they'll-
Generally.
So you'd rather waste 700 than spend more and perhaps get a system that actually works and does all we want.
I don't consider it a waste, Martin. I mean, we do want to put a security system in. There's a lot of easy security systems to put in that we could get somebody hopefully from Baker City to come up and do. Again, we need to see if we can find a small grant to do something like that and put a better system in. I don't know, it's just, that's the feedback from people is this cuts out right now. They can't hear good quality and we really need to try to make it. But that's just my opinion, so.
Well, the thing is we've been told that this is too small of a building to turn it into a commercial audio, right?
Too small to take. It just
It
doesn't
doesn't
have
take
enough
that
room.
much to do it.
No, it
That's
doesn't
the
take that.
issue.
Because like this camera is sitting in the middle, so it catch everybody up there, everybody up here, and the microphones will pick up everybody's conversation.
And they've also been told we should have an integrated system.
So you're trying to tie in security with this too?
Even if we didn't, if we have someone who knows what they're doing, they will know. If we have the audio system, what kind of security system can be built into it? Because part of the security system is the video and the audio. Right?
A lot of people have just the Blink or the Ring, and the Pot Shop even has the Ring, and that's not a bad system. You can get those for $100 and put them on 2 or 3 of the doors. You can actually buy an extra camera and have it on that door, the back door. I know Jenny and Justin have the Ring system.
I mean, that's the one where I call somebody.
No,
No, it's just cameras.
it's a camera, and then if somebody breaks in, anybody that comes through that, it blinks on your phone or your computer. So it's continually running. And they're not bad at all.
Okay,
Motion detected.
Yeah.
motion detected, they have sound.
Yes. They put in that system after the ATM fiasco. And got packed up in that door.
So do we know how much they take? I guess we can talk to Jimmy and see.
Well, I know the Blink system, you can get 2 cameras and it goes straight to your phone, goes straight to your computer, blinks anytime somebody comes in, you can set the perimeters on it, you want it just, you know, from 4 o'clock to 6, 8 o'clock in the morning. You can pick up spare cameras, so you get the whole system for all of that for about $150. Quite a few people would have this on there.
I just have a real problem believing that's a top-notch system. You got to say.
A lot of people use the Ring and the Blink. I know that it's,
Well, you get good video quality when they come through the sensor, and it pops right up on your phone, and you can keep that video, you can live feed and talk to them,
Whose phones do it pop up?
and pop up on the computer.
Is somebody sitting there monitoring it?
What do you want it to do, tie into the
No,
police
no,
station?
I think, you know, for so much money, it doesn't cost much to have it called in to, you know, a law enforcement agency, maybe $30 a month or something like that. But, you know, and they're a long ways away. But then, does anybody in this room want to come down here when it goes off and there's somebody in here, a burglar or whatever, and risk the injury from that? Or that they might injure somebody if somebody goes back and run into here? You know, ask the bodega operator in New York City.
well, the thing is, okay, so you wanted to run at night or whenever the office closed down, what about on the weekend? If I forgot something here on the table and I come in, do you want that to ring to the law enforcement that I came in?
No, but see, that's part of, if we had a good system where if you had a key card or something like that, it would recognize you, wouldn't necessarily do it.
Well, okay, Martin, find us the system.
I don't have time. I'm the only counselor that has a full-time job, so no.
Well, we keep bringing stuff and it keeps being told no. And,
Get something that says yes, there's 3 of you and 1 of me.
well,
I want
I've
to,
been researching it, Marcia has, I mean,
I want to separate I can do some research on the security system, but I want to be separated. For right now, it is, you know, it is what, $700 the last time.
The security system over at Martin's talking about, those not just cameras, it's locks.
Well, it's, yeah,
It's gonna be a total security system where you've got a card or you gotta put in a code. So we're looking at locks for the doors as well as the cameras.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it all.
Am I right, Martin?
Yeah, that's right, because look at how many of our records are missing.
Right.
Because everybody in town except me has a key. You know, there's 2 of us.
Well, there's a bunch of. I'd like to go ahead with the next go. I mean, this system isn't up to quality until we can find something better. We can always turn around and sell it as a city surplus too. Make a motion to purchase the next go meeting 360. I know we discussed it a couple meetings ago. It's a shame we lost out a little bit.
go ahead, Sarah.
I'll second this with the contingency that we look for the security system that has been discussed here. For the rest of it.
This is just on the.
That's just on that. I'll check it.
Because like I said, we need to make sure, if you buy this, I don't want the rest of it to go away.
No, they're 2 separate.
Oh, the
things.
security system?
Yeah, they're 2
Oh, no,
separate.
it's
things.
just.
Are you amending the motion? Because that's not a real second, it's kind of sort of second.
So her motion is only for the audio video to go with the next 360.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Martin?
No,
No. Aye. Okay, we're going to go with the next go, and Marcia's going to look into the security system. And if you have time, could you talk to Jenny and see what they did and what theirs looks like? Just to see,
Oh, yeah.
because they have to have security for all their stuff.
well, how many cameras do you have?
For the security,
No, for
whatever we do.
This is gonna be right in the middle, and it's gonna be, you can't, it turns, you keep on top, it turns, and it picks up everybody as it goes.
This one,
It was just half and half.
It's just half and half, okay, that's,
Split
it
screen.
splits, so half
So it shows
will go
this.
there, and half goes here, is the camera and the speakers. So that's just the whole room.
It don't flip around. Yeah.
Oh, different. Okay,
So for the, I'll just ask real quick, so you want it on all doors of the fire?
Yeah, and camera and audio in the office too.
we've got a door back here. So the next thing is the tree trimming. There were some questions on this. I've got to ask Jeffrey's here. There was a little confusion on this for Tony's tree service. The stump is not coming out. What this bid is for the willow trees, the dead pine that's leaning over somebody's property from the city's property. And they're just cutting that back. And the chips, some are going to be stopped, they're going to go here by Volunteer Park and get spread on that, and then they get spreading them on the road that goes to the pavilion to cut down the dust. So, and this estimate is just, it's $300 difference, you know, it's between $1,500 and $1,800.
So it's still 1,500.
It's just 300 different, because depending on how much they have to cut, how much they have to cut back on the willow trees. But we thought it had to have a stump removal, but it's not a stump.
Is it just one side of the It's just the one side person?
No, I mean, street size.
Street side, so it's both sides.
They should cut the willows back. That's-
Yeah,
They're gonna
Tree trim
trim the
enough, they
whole
should do.
things back.
Yeah.
So we are hanging.
that's the little.
And I guess it's a relatively large tree. So, you know, and Tony's up here working on other jobs, so, but. Is he up here, Charlie?
Yes, he's there.
He's here, so now it's the time to let him do it, so he doesn't charge us mileage just to do our trees.
And he's good at chipping the limbs.
Where chips and things are,
They clean up everything. Any other discussion on this? Do I have a motion to go ahead and have this proposal approved?
I make the motion that we have Tony's tree trimming service, do the willows and the pine. For a maximum of 1,800.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Marcia?
No.
Okay, we'll let Tim know. Okay, before you hand with Marcia.
Oh, the pay scale. Sorry. Contacted quite a few on Renee's, helped me contact quite a few cities. We do need to have a workshop on this and set what I mean, some of them are starting at 30 cents a step, and then this next year they go up 2 cents, and then 2 cents and 2 cents. Some of them are starting at 60 cents, some are starting at 75 for the first year, the first complete year it's per hour. And then every year after they go up 2 cents. So it's just something council needs to come together to decide.
So can we do that? After a public hearing on the 20th?
Yeah. Shouldn't be that long, we just have to, everybody's got to get into their head what kind of figures they're looking at. Some of the cities now are doing high COLAs just because this year is so rough, but we do need to put in a specified amount into the handbook that can be changed at a council meeting or during an evaluation if we want to go over. But I think it's not to go over 2% for a full each year, but it can, according to city finances, vary from year to year.
Charlie, are you available for a little longer in time?
The thing is always, for the employee handbook, if we just put it in the handbook, then we're gonna get. What do you call it?
Well, not equal.
If you're gonna do the COLA, right? Why don't we have the fees and that in the resolution? So they can be changed.
It will
by
be set,
council.
it can be set by resolution, yeah, it's in the handbook already. Yeah, we can just add the COLAs.
Martin,
Yeah,
on the 20th, after the public hearing, are you available for at least another hour to discuss the employee handbook rates?
That's the one at 9, right?
Well, we have one at 9,
Yeah.
and then could we go into a workshop for the employee handbook? There's a couple of pages we need to.
It's the COLAs and the step increases.
So does that work for you?
Yeah, I could do that, Ken.
Yeah,
Now, we're gonna have a complete copy with all the proposed changes in it.
yeah, we should have a clean copy with all the changes except for the one page that we didn't go through.
Okay, what about the red, is it red line? So, see,
I don't know, is this a whole new page, Marcia, that we're adding?
For the resolution, it would be a resolution.
For the fees?
For the fees and stuff, but it would be set by resolution. That way, if you have to go in and change it occasionally, it's easier than redoing the whole handbook. Just be set by resolution, and that is, I believe, what it says in the revised handbook.
Yeah, we'll be sure everybody has a good
okay,
copy.
revised handbook, though, have you made changes since this process started?
No,
Okay,
this was all the changes that we discussed when we did have the workshop and made them transferred to this.
okay, so we get a red line copy showing what has been changed. You know how to do
No, I
that?
just retyped the whole thing.
She just retyped the whole thing and made changes, but,
Is it in Word? It is the original one in Word?
I
What's
can,
in it?
Right there on paper.
it's just right, this is old. I can go through and, highlight every one of the changes that we did, just like this one.
Yeah, I'd like to see what those are. With Word, it's easy.
Well, this is just what we worked on.
Can I go over with you on Word and you can highlight them that way and send them?
Tell you what, I have a program that can convert that, so if I have the original one and this one in Word, your new approved one, I might be able to convert the original one, PDF, into Word and run the red line.
Here you go. These are all the tabs that have changed and they're all marked and highlighted in the new one.
Okay, I got it scanned. Do you have one at home that's just a PDF?
No, I don't.
Does the city have one?
A PDF copy of it? No.
All we.
But I can scan it and email it to you and you'll have it in PDF.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Then I'll try to convert it.
Okay. Okay, so we'll set that for,
Okay, so I'll highlight all the old places.
that'll be on the 20th. Counselor comments, Martin, do you have anything?
Yeah, I want to respond to Leanne, which I thought, you know, it was a pretty cheap shot. My name is Martin Lewinberger. You could have mentioned it. His name is John Pattis. So I want to say this. You say, you know, we've hated everything here. I acquired a title to the city cemetery for him at no cost. I got the city a new computer system and a bookkeeping system, which Tony refused to use at no cost to the city. I've done all sorts of legal work for the city. Then you talked about the values here.
Now, one thing that keeps property values down is junk houses that, have tar paper or visqueen around the basement, like up there at First and Auburn. Or that have junk in the yard, like certain ones on Bonanza Street that took forever to build. Then, the flea markets, of course, your family has done well with the flea markets because you guys have the portion that gets the money from the electrical and other things. And it doesn't mean, I have never been against flea markets. In fact, when it was voted not to have the July flea market, and I understand that I and John Patterson are responsible for its failure. And I will admit to you, I'm also responsible for the war in Ukraine and global warming too. That's about as ludicrous as your argument. I was the only one who voted no on canceling the flea market on the 4th of July. And if you look at the minutes of November 9th, 21, my vote is no, the others were yes. There are other instances where I did not support terminating the flea market. I knew the flea market was there when I built, but it was being run illegally. You folks got sued over it and entered a stipulated judgment that brought it back then compliant. I think the flea market itself is wonderful. I don't like to eat the dust. That's been taken care of. So that's another BS argument. Now, I'm not a member of the good old boys here, but out of every person in this room, I've been a resident of this town longer than anybody, I believe, except you. I've been here over 20 years. I was here before the Clarks got here, or anybody on this council, or Renee. And I've pretty much laid low. Now, the flea market, I think we showed, probably lost money. And of course, you want people to come here. Well, we have, I think, 3 merchants. Well, I guess you're a merchant. Now, I don't go to the gas station and I don't go to Borello's. Reason being, because 7 years ago at a council meeting, your city recorder and her husband, the utility manager, along with Kerry Clark and some others, attacked numerous members of the public, prevented my wife from leaving. I wasn't here, roughed up Tim Peters. And that is a violation of 42 United States Code, Section 1983. And we could have sued everybody for all their worth, except we know most of you aren't worth anything. So that's another reason. And I don't care to go to Taco Tuesday to hear people talk about me being a worthless son of a bitch and against everything. John Young said, I'm against everything that's good. All I've tried to do is get this city to be financially responsible. And then you come in here with your mamby-pamby ideas and want to criticize all that, perhaps you should look in the mirror. This ain't Seattle. This ain't all those other wonderful places you've been. And I've probably been to more wonderful places than you. So I think that your remarks are totally without merit. Your personal attack on me is without merit. Your attack on John Patterson, who has spent more money in this community than you or your entire family ever have, bears a lot in reviewing what they have done for this community.
All right, you're entitled to your opinion. Okay. Don't feel that.
This isn't a debate.
No,
I'm
we're
entitled-
not gonna debate this morning. You have your opinion, you had your say, Leanne.
All right.
And
Yeah,
He has made accusations
I know.
against me that with which I disagree.
So, and we made accusations,
disagree.
so we're not going to get this into a debate.
All right.
I will say that, just for the record, when it came to the 4th of July flea market, I also voted to not have 4th of July flea market. So. Okay, Marcia, do you have anything? No. Charlie?
Yes. We have an issue which when we put in for our, this is strictly in city streets that we do our digging for water and sewer. We have made it clear to where people who are gonna put in a sewer line, for instance, they pay to have the dig done, they pay to have it backfilled, they pay to have it done. We as a city, because of our equipment, have decided to hire contractors to do this. We have a list of them. We now are starting to see where we need to figure out some way for a recourse for these people to gain their money. Because they go and they do the dig, the city's collected their money for the connection. But these guys don't have any way to get their money back out of the individual when they did the work.
You mean the property owner can't get the money?
They don't have any recourse. Us, if they come in and they pay the, what is it, $3,500 to have the sewer put in, then they turn around. And if we were doing the digging and they didn't want to pay for it, we ain't gonna look at, we're not turning around the wall. That's the recourse the city has as far as.
There are arsons involved.
But the contractor,
that's an error.
yeah.
But the contractor is working for the city.
No.
Charlie?
No.
Because when we had to have our sewer put in, we had to hire the contractor, the
Yeah,
city
we
had hired,
or-
we had to hire. the
Okay, guys. Okay, guys,
Here's the law. If I perform work for the benefit of your property, even if it isn't necessarily on the site, I can claim a lien against your property for that. And so the contractor has his resource there. Additionally, a licensed contractor has a bond to go after. And the owner can go after that bond. So we don't, there are remedies.
because what we're doing is we have a list of contractors, so we give it to the owner, and it's their, they have to deal with hiring, yeah. And they should be bonded and licensed.
Well, they had to show all that to be
Well,
approved by the city.
they're approved for the city. But I was just asked about
Yeah,
trying to get their money because they're like, we're
The
doing,
contractor.
we're doing this. dig
well,
for
a
the city,
contractor can do a lien on people if they don't do.
Even though they're digging in the city street.
It's for the benefit of that
It's
property.
for the benefit of that.
Plus they have a bond.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward.
Okay, I'm gonna bring up something, just throw it out there. It's not on here, make it quick. The biggest conversation has been around the Wright House. Just so you know, there was a structural engineer came in, walked through it, said the house isn't in that bad of condition. It does need to have some outside work done, preferably first before any more inside. And John Young has gone to Dawn and has applied for permits. So there will be some inspections. So right now it's tag, no work, they're staying out. I am going to get with them to go inside to get some hoses and some of the volunteer stuff out.
Who's the engineer?
Oh, I didn't bring this. He came out of Pendleton. He was filling in for, is it Dennis? It's in Baker. He's filling in for.
Don
Mark,
Don sent him
it's
out.
Steve Charlotte.
Don sent Steve something.
Steve Charlotte.
Yeah, Steve.
He's been an inspector for.
Right, but he was from Pendleton and he just said he was filling in for. the Baker
Mark.
House. Mark.
Okay.
So I just to let you know, it's being worked on. Okay, anything else? No. Oh, public comment, sorry. Oh my God, there's only hand.
What?
Rebecca, tell yours first.
Rebecca Patterson. I would like to say that after patting herself on the back and omitting why she was relieved of her duties in City Hall, Ms. Wool's character attack of my husband and Councilor Leuenberger without fact checking is irresponsible at best. I take the pictures and I made the post. The post said it's a rather quiet merchant's market and there are no vendors at the fairgrounds. All of that was true. There were more people here Sunday and Monday as a result of the conversations and the rumors that went around about that post. People here on Sunday and Monday is unusual for the flea market. Had we not mentioned anything, there could have been nobody all weekend. We've had a counselor sit at this table and say they don't want business in this town, and it was not Councilor Leuenberger. So I ask that next time you get up here and grandstand, please check your facts first. Kurt.
Okay, so I know there's a million. Oh, no, I'm just a
You
simple
can't
man.
sit back there and hide. Sorry.
Throughout the United States, there's probably 1 million acres of chip trees and stuff on the ground, but they are a serious fire hazard. You don't see them now like you used to 30 years ago when you'd go right to BAW or Big Mill and just get them by the dump truck loads, because there is some that are fire retardant, but I doubt that they're chipping are. So if you put them on pathways and stuff like that, or somebody could be throwing down cigarettes and that, you know, just something to think about. They're safer in a big pile.
What about the ones that we've had in the park all along? Here, those are for.
So that's a fire hazard.
So
You know, they'll dry.
you're saying you don't want.
No, you guys do what you want with them. I'm just letting you know that.
Okay, thank you.
We're feeding the fire.
You're feeding the fire. And there's some new regulations as far as wildland firefighting. You gotta provide water and ice and all kinds of cool things for them after it gets so hot out. So I just want to see, and I should run it up with my report. Can I just simply, you know, on a day that I've got 10 guys out on a wildland fire, can I go get them water and ice from the grocery store or the gas station and just simply charge it to the city? Or can I take some of this $1,000 and prepay $500 at somewhere so that it's very readily available for, say, fuel and water and ice?
Well, we haven't adjourned yet, so I move we give them the right, they're fighting a fire, go to the gas station, get appropriate water and ice for his firefighters.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then the pavement, I know some of it was just kind of a set in stone thing, and then some did the city add, because during flea markets and busy holidays, I have an awful busy road that doesn't get any, I mean, it gets 90% of the razor traffic in town. Right in front of my house, you know, I don't live there, but still, I get dust on my vehicles. Bourne Avenue, everything that goes to Bourne is coming right by my house.
Is it Bourne Avenue or is it the?
Magnolia
Magnolia.
and Bourne Avenue. So I'm actually Park Street, but it's the intersection, Bourne Avenue and Magnolia.
But they're all coming from Magnolia across the road.
Yeah.
To you and around the corner.
Yes.
And then out.
So just a thought, you know, just if wherever it's getting, just, you know, if it's by vehicles, traffic, then that one should count because it gets a lot.
Well, we probably should, my feeling is that when it was oversight this year, but we ought to look into it next year, too, because that's the reason why we went further out. is for the-
I mean,
That's all I got.
Al?
Talking about security, I've been involved in 4 organizations that all 4 use ADT. Each individual had their own passcode to get in, so you knew when they were there and you knew when they rearmed it. So I don't know who you've looked into, but ADT, 4 different groups I've been with. and they come in and installed it.
They're the ones you see on TV.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm sure there's others, but
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just a simple statement that there are unsupported accusations against my family, unsupported accusations against my son. And there were a great many vendors who took pictures of the very busy lots and posted them and made sure that other vendors reposted them. And so, yes, empty lots did cause more people being here, so because of the outcry. And I'm very glad it was me presenting a nice, quiet, rather than some of the other people I have heard speak about the 4th of July.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Dawn?
I'd say a word or two. First of all, when I'm inspecting up here, I just need to tell you, I'm not inspecting the ordinance. I'm just electrical. If someone's putting a trailer, we're not supposed to do that, different thing, okay? Pictures don't lie. That's all there is to it. There's a family here that's been here 50 years, leaders of the community. We employ a different tactic than them. Apparently, it's called honesty. We built honesty with over 1,100 people on our Facebook page, and we weren't going to sit there and feed them full of shit saying there's a huge flea market, come on up. Because all you did is, by having this flea market, is hurt the other two that we got the March one up, the May one up with our ATV rally, and you can't deny it. So, the other thing, the Wright House, okay? It looked better when it was an abandoned house. I have pictures I can show you if you want. The paint is 3 different colors on the north end. That front porch is just, it's a joke. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Some people don't have skill sets that others do, but that's a joke. If you miss your mark that high, so you put a concrete paver on top of a post and then a beam on top of that, what do you use? Super glue? You know, that building, the city needs to wash their hands of it somehow or get it tore down and use that property for a new city hall, fire department, bathrooms, a multitude of reasons, because you don't have that much property. I'm building a 100-space RV park. By God, I don't want anyone to come here. I mean, the level of intelligence that came up with that post said that we were liars is about -3. And I don't know who did it, but it got shared. Ours got shared 79 times that I saw. And the comments were, we went up, we drove all the way. Gas is, I don't know, diesel 6.30 a gallon, okay? We don't want people to drive all the way up here and get pissed off and never come back. That doesn't do you any good. If you knew anything about business, you would know that. It's called repeat customers. So we were just letting people know it's a quiet market. You know, don't expect a whole bunch. Their fairgrounds are empty and the pictures don't lie. So, enjoy your evening.
Anybody else?
Oh, one more thing. I think the people on that committee should all be up to snuff on their ordinances. In other words, anybody that's not out of ordinance cannot be on that committee. I mean, if you can find 5 here.
Okay, anything else?
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? What is you know, you guys are doing something.